released its very first distortion pedal, the DS-1. This has gone on to become one of the most popular, the most sold, and the most used pedals of all time. I think it's safe to say that the DS-1 truly has shaped the course of music history with its sound and the people that have used it on countless records and countless songs. So, in today's video, we're gonna take a look at the DS-1 and find out what is the DS-1 sound. Today's video is sponsored by Sweetwater. A little bit later, we're going to be looking at the Boss DS-1 Wazacraft, the brand new distortion that Boss just put out. And if you want more information on that pedal, you can find it in the Sweetwater link via the description. That is an affiliate link, which means if you purchase something through that link, I earn a small commission, which really helps me out in making these videos. So the DS-1, where did it start? Where did it come from?
So the DS-1, first of all, is Boss's first distortion pedal. And I think that's pretty cool because Boss has made so many distortion pedals. Now, DS-1 is legendary, partly because of the fact that it was early in compact pedal evolution. When the Boss Compact series drops in '77, it changes the game, and everything Boss does in this series, whether it be chorus, distortion, or delay, was always trend-setting. So the orange DS-1 is iconic, and I wore this sweatshirt just to symbolize how iconic it is. The version 1 is 1978, and here it is. This is 1978 through 94. This very first version, it's important to note, it does not have an op amp. It's actually this transistor array, and a lot of people believe these sound better. And this part goes extinct, and in 94 we see the version 2, people call it. I don't know. I think it still sounds pretty similar across the line, and I like to credit that to the fact that Boss engineers are geniuses, and they kept it consistent even though some parts changed. And then we go to the year 2000. I graduated high school. I didn't enjoy any of that, and that's where we have the V3. To me, they sound identical, but it's cool to know, cool piece of history. And then we go on down the line to a version 4. Version 4 starts in 2006, and this is a 2014 variation of that. This is what you're mostly gonna see scattered across Reverb and eBay. This is probably when they sold them the most. They're everywhere. Everyone has them. This is the version 5, 2017. And most significantly, this is all surface mount. So every DS-1 before this is through-hole components, but if you open this one up, it's a small circuit board and it's all surface mount. I think it sounds fantastic. I would say this actually has lower noise. I would say it has lower noise than the other ones. They're so killer. A few cool things to show with those of you who care. I don't have a DS-1 backpack, but I have the Turbo DS-2 backpack, and it's never been out of the plastic. A Turbo DS-2 is really just a DS-1. Kurt Cobain used this from In Utero on. When you listen to Nevermind, he's using one of these older DS-1s. Oh, what's this? Is this a compact computer mouse?
What?
Why have I never opened this? Oh, I have a few. It's just a computer mouse. Rhett, you need to use this. I'm gonna mail it to you.
So I think Boss really nailed it with the DS-1. This is the version 1, the 79 that Josh sent over. Huge thanks to Josh, by the way, for sending not just one, but 5 different versions of the DS-1 to check out for the video. And in playing all 5 of them back to back, I can't really tell much of a difference between the different versions. There might be, subtle differences if you're really, really trying to split hairs, but for all intents and purposes, a DS-1 is a DS-1 is a DS-1. And the DS-1 is pretty great. Now, I should point out, I've never actually owned one of these pedals, and there's a reason for that. Early on, when I was first learning about guitar pedals, I went down to my local guitar shop, Atlanta Discount Music, and I played one. And admittedly, I had no idea what I was doing. I just kind of turned some knobs on. I was playing through a solid state amp and just went into it and played something, like this. Played it for a few seconds and thought, oh God, that's way too much distortion. That's too dirty. It's too muddy. I don't like it. But after spending some time with the DS-1 in years since, I can confidently say this is actually one of the most versatile distortion pedals and useful distortion circuits out there. First of all, the DS-1 has one of the most active EQ controls of any pedal I've ever played. Check this out. If we go full dark with sort of a mid distortion setting, we'll put the distortion at noon, the level at 1 o'clock. Listen to this. Now I should point out I'm playing my Les Paul straight into the DS-1 and then we're going straight into my Tone King Imperial Mark II. And I've got the Tone King set up for a relatively dirty sound, not necessarily clean at all. That's how I typically run the amp. Now listen to how dark and how much low end there is in the DS-1. That sounds like 3 or 4 completely different pedals because it's not just the EQ that's changing. It's not necessarily just getting brighter and darker. The mid-range is shifting, the low mids are shifting, the high mids are shifting. This EQ control is so powerful. And because of that EQ control, you can do quite a bit with the DS-1. Now, one of the best ways to use the DS-1 is to push the distortion quite a bit and break that tone control a little bit brighter. This is going to give you super searing lead tones with a lot of pick attack, a lot of definition, and quite a bit of compression and sustain on your notes. That's why so many famous players like Gary Moore, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani relied on the DS-1 specifically for lead sound. There's so much definition and clarity and punch that comes through with that tone control. And it can kind of start to get into fuzz territory if we really push the distortion. Check this out. Now, the interesting thing about the DS-1 is there's nothing transparent about it, right? This is not a Bluesbreaker overdrive or a King of Tone or anything that's designed to kind of keep your original amp and guitar tone intact. This is a classic distortion circuit, so it's going to be imprinting its own signal and its own sort of flavor on top of whatever you're already playing. So the DS-1's not transparent, but it does make a really powerful boost pedal. So check this out. If you bring the distortion all the way down, and then you boost the level, now we're hitting the front end of our amp really, really hard, and we can use this powerful EQ to dial it in from there. So it makes a killer distortion, great for riffs, great for lead lines, great for sustain. It makes a great boost pedal. And because of that really powerful EQ section, it's versatile. It's gonna work well with a variety of different guitar and amp combinations, because if something's too bright and too biting and too harsh, you can roll that tone down. Or on the contrary, if something's too muddy and too dark, because that EQ control is shifting not just the top end or low end, it's shifting that mid range, it can start to tighten up the low end for heavier sounding rigs or riffs. And it's that versatility and that usability that has made the DS-1 so iconic. In fact, one of my favorite examples of a current player who relies on the DS-1 is Mark Spear from Khruangbin. Now, I recently did a video on Mark. If you're interested in that, you can check it out here or down below. But in the Premier Guitar rig rundown, he's running a really simple pedal board, and he has one of the modern DS-1s on his pedal board pretty much on all the time. And his settings are basically this right here. Tone all the way down, distortion all the way down, level all the way up. I've been listening to Mark Spear and Khruangbin for years, and I had no idea until watching that rig rundown that there was a DS-1 on his board. But it's a huge part of his sound, and paired with a Fender amp and a Fender Stratocaster with some compression and some modulation and some reverb and delay, you can get some really, really cool sounds.
Here for. We're here because they have released a Wazacraft. Look at that. It looks like these other ones, but it just looks better. You got a black sticker. You have the custom mode, which sounds stinking amazing. I love the Wazacraft series. They're so killer.
Here's the deal. I think I've slept on the DS-1 for far too long. This has actually now become one of my favorite dirt pedals that I've ever used. And the fact of the matter is, there's probably a lot of you that have slept on the DS-1 as well. Now, I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of comments saying, well, what are you talking about? I've got a DS-1, and yes, I know, they've sold more of these than just about any other pedal ever made. But the reality is, I don't see the DS-1 talked about a lot in today's modern times and sort of the grand scheme of pedals. And in the process of making this video, I've actually realized something, at least for my own perspective, and that is, this is far superior to this. People rave about the Tubescreamer as, you know, being one of the greatest pedals of all time, but the thing is, I think this is relatively limited in its scope. I made a whole video about this last year. To me, the Tubescreamer only works if you have a mid-scooped guitar with a mid-scooped amplifier, or if you're using an amp that has a ton of gain and you want to tighten up the low end. I think it's just relatively limited overall. Whereas the DS-1 is incredibly versatile. It's a great boost, it's a great distortion, it's a great borderline fuzz. This EQ control gives you so much power, so much tone shaping abilities. I think this is one of the greatest dirt pedals of all time, not necessarily this. But I would love to know your thoughts. Once again, thank you to Josh Scott for not only donating his time and his expertise to this video, but literally sending me 5 different DS-1s from his collection, including this computer mouse, which is pretty amazing. JHS has done an amazing interview on the beginnings of the Boss Compact series, which I'll have linked down below. If you're at all interested in this stuff, you should absolutely go watch that video. It's incredibly well done. So once again, thanks Josh and the team at JHS. And thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Sweetwater. If you are interested in checking out the DS-1 Wazacraft or just the standard V5 DS-1, go to Sweetwater and check it out. That's an affiliate link down below, which means I will earn a small commission if you purchase something through that link, and I greatly appreciate the support. While you're down there, you can also find links to my video courses. We have a brand new video course on the way in the Fretboard Fundamentals series. This is a lead guitar course. It will be dropping in a few weeks, so be on the lookout for that. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and click the bell. My name is Rhett Shull. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, there is no plan B.